Welcome to The Eyes of Indigo with your infinitely curious hosts, Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Our show is broadcast live at 9:30 p.m. Wednesdays. Socio-spiritual topics are laced with humor as we discuss weird stuff in a rational way. Learn more about us in our first episode, The Prequel. Shows are recorded and available on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, and other aggregators. A keyword searchable index is at iriscarter.com/EOI directory. Share ideas and comments in the program chat or by email. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share our show. Let us know you're here by typing your hello in the comments because we are thrilled to welcome you as we begin another adventure right now. All right, I hit it and it's still, where are we? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that. I was like, why is it not showing? And another slate had come up. Technical difficulties. Hello.
Welcome post-apocalypse. That's good. Post-eclipse. Post-apocalypse. Post-eclipse. Welcome to the new timeline, guys.
Yeah, welcome to Mercury retrograde and I'm getting ready to say it too, apocalypse, eclipse, and all kinds of crazy crap going on. So yeah, we're riding the tailspin.
We're riding the pony right with y'all. We're gonna help you as much as we can, discussing weird stuff in a rational way.
Hey, that exactly. See, that's what we do.
Doing our best.
Yes,
on these multi-dimensional awareness. Oh my goodness. Multitasking has never been so valuable, and so is my ADD. It's coming in very handy. So
I'm going to try to change our setting, and I hope I don't screw anything up. There, that's better.
We're big and fluffy again. Yay!
Yes. I knew something looked weird about it and it was because of our event last week where we had 4 people and it had a different setup for it, and it was still on that setup, and I wasn't paying attention because I was busy with other
things. And now we're back. Whoop! I left the podcast. Or it says
no,
host.
you're still here, honey, and we can hear you and everything.
Wow. Okay. More technical weirdness. My screen says host is not joined yet. It says host has left the podcast. Host is not joined yet.
Can you see me?
But yeah, I see you and hear you just fine.
It's just that little memo at the top, right?
Yeah, there's a memo. Yeah. And it says live, and all the green bars are lit up.
So if you're watching, let us know if you're seeing something weird, but I'm seeing it all, and evidently.
Aloha. Two of our favorites are on the air in the chat box.
We really can't see for sure who's there and who's not there because we are not on YouTube. We are not on Facebook. We stream to those areas from another place on the internet. So things get funky.
Yep. You got to type your hello, and Dale and Jeannie just said aloha.
Yay, thank you. Hello.
It just popped up. It said the host came back. It said your host has joined the broadcast. It just wow. Multiple dimensions are popping everywhere in the moment. And it's showing up in the tech.
So did you watch the eclipse?
Yes, I did. And it was very serene and lovely and magical. And it was just me and my husband, and it was gorgeous. What about you?
Yeah. I went to, it was funny because our library on campus had a viewing party from 2 to 4. And I had blocked that off on my calendar, but got a couple of phone calls and other things happening. And I got to finish this, I got to finish that. But I'm going. I finally threw everything down. So I'm gone. And I run to the library. I got there about 3 o'clock, and they said, "Oh, peak is in about 10 minutes." And I'm like, ah! Yeah, I did not realize. And it just had that weird haze. Oh, great, Heidi. Thank you for saying she sees and hears us both. Good to see you, so to speak.
Thank you. Yeah, the mystical hazy light that it gave, the pre-twilight, not
Yeah,
even
it
twilight.
reminded me of like a summer day that's really like super hazy, but it wasn't as hot.
Not at
Or
all.
and it was clear. It was like a crisp version of a hazy summer day. It was the best.
It was, and it was cool, and we had a light breeze, and it was super quiet. All our neighbors were gone, so it was very quiet where we were. It was very serene. It was nice. Meditated. Did you see anything else in the sky besides the eclipse itself? By chance, did you see anything? Or did you ever look up, or did you just use
I
devices?
just used the things because every time I tried to just look and
Hmm.
just to see, and not that I wanted, because we weren't in total, so it wasn't like you could look at the sun even, and we had some cloudiness. It was really weird though because only one point did some clouds obscure, and then they went away within like a half a minute. But it was very cloudy in the distance, and as soon as the eclipse was fading, it was like all of a sudden it got cloudy, and so it went away. The cloud went away and came back.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
it was clear. It was completely clear and bright and sunny the whole time here. And I held up my phone in my hand to cover up most of the sun so I could see around the sun.
Hmm.
There was stuff going on.
Oh,
But I
really?
couldn't see it. But I couldn't see it just looking in that direction. I had to cover up the sun and use my peripheral vision to detect super fast moving flickers of stuff happening.
Huh?
So it wasn't even a direct thing. And then footage showed up all over the internet of exactly what I saw the next day.
What's the internet saying? I hadn't even been on to look.
What I saw, and there's two or three different shapes of stuff that's out there, but what I saw was the elongated, medium pale gray shooting through real fast towards the sun, and they were huge. But I saw three, and I've seen video of at least once. I'll shoot you a link. But yeah, it was busy up there. But down here, it felt very, very serene. We did some nice meditation, some crystals, did some chanting, special music. It was nice. Yeah,
Oh, very
yeah.
cool. If anybody has any comments on their
Share.
events,
Oh,
share. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It, a lot of people celebrated indoors for eclipse because that's a part of their belief system. And yeah, time of serenity. Yeah.
a lot of people around here were just like, "Nah, who cares?" And I'm like, I remember back in the '60s when I was little. I was probably around 8 years old, and I remember a total eclipse back then. And then we used negative film to look through at the sun. We'd put like a couple of layers, and you could look through to see it. And I remember my mom, watching over us like a hawk, and then as soon as we'd look through at the sun, and we'd put down the negative, she'd like make me close my eyes. She'd put her hands over my eyes for a few seconds just to make sure that they were resting. Like she was so panicky, like mom.
She didn't want to pay for that eye surgery.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they're saying be another 20 years, I guess, before we're like,
Before a full one comes over, but partials will come up all the time.
yeah.
And eclipses show up all over the world every year.
Yeah, so it's just,
But just not all. Usually they're over the sea because there's more water on this planet than there is dry land.
yeah.
But eclipses happen mostly at sea, but they happen every year, all year.
Now that'd be cool is to take a eclipse
A
cruise.
cruise, an eclipse cruise. Earth, when we have our millions and we buy our fleet of ships and planes, and I do mean spaceships as well as water ships, we will have eclipse cruises.
We can have what was it? A cosmic reunion, an eclipse cruise.
That was whose idea was that beautiful phrase? Who said the cosmic reunion? I want to give credit where credit's due. Was that you, Heidi? that said that.
I
The
think
cosmic, or maybe it was Carol. Might have been Carol. I don't want to say too many names out of privacy's sake.
we were inside setting up macabres on the Path of the Eclipse podcast. Heidi was with us. Oh, very cool.
That's beautiful. I
Yeah.
bet that was gorgeous. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
So,
you. Cool.
Today's show,
But-
I guess we can jump into that a
Oh,
little. Is there
I was gonna
something
say-
else you wanna- Yeah.
To wrap up what we were just saying, we're
Mhm.
talking about our next Heal the Healer event in a year, possibly. And one of the name suggestion was Cosmic Reunion, for all the different things that could mean. So keep that in your little back of your bonnets, your bee bonnets.
Earthstar Heidi says, had a wonderful live green tea meditation ceremony and activated macabres on their channel. It was really powerful and it was a beautiful day. That is very cool.
That's very generous and very cool. Yeah. That is cool. I'm picking vibes from just hearing about it.
Yeah.
It's like, pow, pow.
Dale's the mastermind. Oh, Dale's the mastermind of Cosmic Reunion. Okay.
Yay! Dude, you are
Dale.
Dale, you are so universal. You're showing up in everyone else's identity as well. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
okay.
So today we've got a what we didn't really have a title. It was listen up and tune in. We're talking hertz. I could have called this sound hertz, but I didn't.
Stretch. But that was good. That was good.
Join in. We were wanting people to join in the discussion about sound waves, tones, and the conspiracy around various hertz levels, whether it heals or hurts. Sound effects. Oh, I did work that in. It was just too easy.
Absolutely. Sound medicine is a huge up and coming industry as well. Yes. Sound does affect people. Okay, we got a comedy show happening behind my computer. So sound healing. Yep. And sound affects human bodies, cellular, molecular, atomic, and overt levels too. So Iris, take us away. Where shall we start this evening?
Okay, I wanted to start with the basics because that's what I understand the best. Okay.
Excellent.
And so when you talk about hertz, Hertz, what it is, okay, we start with frequency and think about how frequently something happens. Any action can have frequency. It's how often you do something. So it might be how many times you knock on a door. Do you knock on the neighbor's door all the time? Then you do it quite frequently, right?
Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah.
Penny.
If you're banging on the wall of your apartment.
Penny. Yeah. Penny.
Oh, yeah.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah. Or how frequently we have a full moon every 28 days. That's the frequency.
A frequency.
Right. So that's frequency in any situation is just what it means. How often something happens. How frequently do you go to the drugstore? How frequently do you go to the grocery store? How frequently do you refill your tank? That kind of thing.
Repetition. How often you repeat something. Yeah.
Right. And hertz is a measurement of the frequency per second. So 1 hertz means one cycle per second. One
repetition.
Second. Right.
One repetition per second.
Right. If and you can also calculate the period of something, which is the amount of time between the repetitions. So the hertz measures the repetitions, and the period is the time between. So if something happens 3 times an hour, say you have to do a breathing treatment 3 times an hour, then that means every 20 minutes is the period. Okay.
Gotcha.
And that is probably where menstrual cycles came from. because they're every 28 days. The period is the
Having
term
your period.
the cycle. The cycle's beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right.
Cycles. Oh yeah, yeah. Period is also a cycle
Yes,
from the beginning of one wave
to the
cycling
next.
up to the top of the next wave.
Yes,
Cycle, period, interchangeable word in this instance. Yeah.
exactly. So we know that sound waves are vibrations. When you hit a piano key, it hits a string, and the strings are of varying lengths. They're going to vibrate at different frequencies. Okay. So the sound waves, how often that sound wave bounces is the frequency. The speed. So in other words,
Bounces is a good word. It's a good
yeah,
visual. Yeah.
yeah. So okay. So the lower the frequency, the lower the
Note.
the note or the sound. Yeah.
Tone. The word
The
is
tone,
tone.
right.
The
Well,
lower the tone.
actually, it's the pitch. It's called
Pitch.
the
Okay.
pitch.
Okay.
So the
Lower
higher
pitch.
the
Okay.
frequency, the higher the notes,
Higher
which is
pitch.
the pitch. The only difference between the word pitch and frequency is that frequency is a scientific measurement. Pitch can be altered based on how that is set.
It's a fluid thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And how the tuning is. And you have volume or amplification or loudness. So don't confuse frequency with how loud something is. Okay. All right. Most people hear, or human hearing can be anywhere from 200 hertz, which is considered a low frequency, or 200 and below, but 20 hertz, I'm sorry, from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz.
Correct.
So 200 and below is a low frequency. It's going to be like a, okay. And
Right.
then
Good. That was good. Yeah.
2000 and up is a high frequency, which is like, yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Think mosquito whining.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. 20,000 hertz is ultrasound.
Oh, like looking at babies and injuries in medicine.
Yeah, because you can
Bounce that sound off
bounce
of
the
them.
waves to see, okay? And we can't hear it because it's ultrasound. It's out of but ultrasound can cause dizziness, headaches, nausea, fatigue. Those sound waves.
Which pregnant people don't notice because they already feel that way.
Yeah, yeah. But there has been things where I have been around where it was like the vibrations. I know my microwave's a little different, but if I get too close to my microwave while it's cooking something, if I'm just hanging by it waiting for something to come out of it, I can't do that anymore. It really stirs something up in me. I don't know what it is, but it's like,
You're sensitive.
yeah, yeah. And the same with some sounds and things like that. Okay, so let me show, because one of the things that comes into talking about all this, and I want to make sure because I don't know who all is musically inclined or that sort of thing, but they talk a lot. So let me, and I'll put the solo on. Okay, this a standard keyboard. I didn't count to see if it was 88 keys or not. But typically when people talk about the middle C, they're talking about this right here in the middle because it is basically the middle of the keyboard.
Yeah.
And the white keys are what make the regular notes, and the black keys make like sharps and flats. Okay.
Okay.
So like a C, the C, if you go to the black key, is then a C sharp, and then the next white key is a D. And
Okay.
the black key for the D, this can be also a D flat and a D sharp. So a C sharp is the same as a D flat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Quick music lesson there. Okay. But anyway, so the way it goes is the middle C is called the middle C because it's the middle.
Middle word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But E, F, G. Okay. So the keys go from A through G. So this is an A. This it with
Nothing's
the
showing up.
three black keys, the one in the middle of the two of them, and that's an A, B.
I'm not seeing anything, sweetie. I don't know if other people are.
Wait a minute, you're
I'm
not
just.
seeing the or
I'm
you're not you can't see my pointer, right?
correct.
Okay, so shit. Okay, well,
You can describe where it is, maybe.
okay. On the far left, you see one key. That's one black note.
Correct.
Then you see two black notes,
Yep.
three black notes.
Yep.
Okay. So every time you see two black notes, the one to the left, the white key to the left of the black notes is a C.
And I see the center C.
So,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So if you see the two black notes, just gauge the middle of the keyboard. The two black notes there. The white key to the left of those two black notes is the C.
Got
And
it.
then the black note, when you go up from the C to that first black note, that's
That
a
key.
C
Yeah.
sharp. It's also known
Yes.
as a D flat.
Yes.
Okay. So you got C, then the next key, the white key is D, the next white key is E, the next white key is F, G, and then A, which is the second white key in that group of three black notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's where I ended up. Yes.
Okay. So then then you start again A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the A is in the same spot again.
Right.
So, all right. So going back to the middle C, which is next to those two black notes, if you go to the next C, which is the next set of two black notes,
To the
that's an
left.
octave.
Oh, any direction. That's an octave. Yeah.
Any direction is an octave. You can go down or up. So people talk about going up an octave or down an octave. And, you hear like Mariah Carey can cover 5 octaves, although I think she just screams. I can't. There's a difference between squeezing somebody and making them squeal versus them actually singing. Okay.
Yeah, singing and screeching, they're two different things.
Yeah. So, but the octave, the thing is that the tone is going to be, or the note is going to, it's exactly 7 steps up. From octave to octave.
Sure.
And then you make chords with notes in between. You combine certain notes, 2 or more notes as a chord played together. Okay. So I wanted to kind of explain that because sometimes it gets into octaves too. But if you think about the lower notes are on the left and the higher notes are on the right, and middle C is sort of in the middle. So the higher you go, the higher the frequency of the notes.
Okay. The shorter the period, the higher the frequency, the more repetitions there are per second.
Right. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to some of y'all. And I appreciate you for bearing with me on that. So what happened is way back in the 1800s, there was no consistency of tuning instruments. So you could go that, if somebody had a tuning fork, then another person, depending on who made the tuning fork, which is, it looks like it's a fork, people use it on your knees and stuff, a dong, okay. Depending, you might think that it was tuned to a certain note, but another company that made a different tuning fork might go to a different frequency. So there was no consistency in naming the frequencies and in saying that this note is at this frequency. So if you had an opera singer, and that was where it came up, was opera singers were having a hard time, because if they would go from orchestra to orchestra,
It
right, it
changed
might be a higher
in a
note
different key.
depending on the frequency, and it can mess
Different
up their
key.
singing. And so people like Verdi, he's the one that wrote the Four Seasons and a bunch of opera
Vivaldi.
stuff.
Vivaldi.
And then
Yeah.
was it Schumer or I can't think of the other
That
guy's
sounds right.
name. Anyway, they were advocating that the letter A in the mid range be tuned to a 432 frequency, 432 hertz. Yeah. And that would be standard around the world. They're going to make it like an International Music Association standard. And I have to go back and look at my stuff to see who else came up and said, no, it should be 440 hertz.
No, that was Rockefeller.
Well, not according to what I've found, but
I'm just yeah.
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, it could be, but somebody.
Yeah, and I'm
with less than noble, maybe not less than noble intentions.
The Schiller Institute had a conference on the topic, and they in 1988, and they wanted to move the standard pitch from 440 hertz to 432 hertz, and they were pulling information and saying, yeah, that since 1800s people have been trying to get this switched. I haven't been able to find any direct slam against who actually went with the 440.
Somebody's pointing a finger.
Yeah, but what I did find that I thought was interesting is, based on a lot of mathematical calculations, and there's articles about it, they looked at how frequently the Earth goes around the sun and the frequency of the rotation and all that stuff, and doing all the math. It's like 365 times 300, 60 times 60 times 24. Anyway, whatever they came up with. Turns out that is the natural 432 is the natural frequency of the Earth,
the planet.
Of the planet. 440 hertz is the harmonic frequency that correlates with Uranus. So somebody pulled it out of their ass.
Somebody, yeah, no, I was waiting. I was making the ass face. I knew it was gonna.
There has actually been some argument for going to 528 hertz, and which would make the letter, well, actually in this case the letter A would be 444 hertz. And that's the frequency of Saturn. Every planet, a couple of planets have one frequency, a couple of planets have another, and they call it seventh ray energy. And the higher, let's see, the higher the ray, the higher the vibration. Anyway, the seventh ray rules the Aquarian age, which is 440. 440 is the seventh ray energy.
Currently. Right.
Currently. So there's different, and if you think about, everything has frequency, vibration.
Everything moves, everything vibrates constantly.
Even a rock.
And below zero. And they found even below absolute zero, there is absolutely no absolute. Everything's moving, even on a quantum level, subatomic, quarks, quasons, blah, 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 blah.
Right. And as we, like when we talk about 4D and 5D, we're talking higher frequency and being able to adjust. Now, the other thing I wanted to share I moved that. Let me go back over here and get this because y'all won't need that. But here we go. I'm getting there. I'm just having to click on different things to make it happen. That's not the one. So the one. Okay. So this was interesting, and I'm hoping you'll be able to hear. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. I want to watch about copyright crap, but I want to play a little bit of this. This is a YouTube video, and I'll put the link in the chat. But it goes from 20 hertz on up to um,
20,000.
almost 20,000. So I thought I'd play just a few beats of each. Give up. Y'all hear
Yep. If you're hearing it, please let us know in the chat.
that? I'll skip up a little bit. Yeah, see, that's really high stuff.
You can see the frequency and how thick the dense the white line is getting.
Yeah, because when you go down here, it's just barely,
Just a single line. Yeah.
and that's just showing the frequency. Yeah. So, and while I'm thinking about it, let me put this in the chat real quick and share. So if anybody's interested, all right. And then the other
May,
one,
may,
uh-huh.
may I jump in real quick? Listening to this, guys, you might want to consider trying it because you can find out how high or how low your hearing is. At
Yes.
what frequency does the sound disappear? And the speculation is not everybody makes it to 20,000. For myself, I couldn't hear it after 13.7.
Oh, wow.
13,700. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They say the most adults are somewhere between, what was the figure? Thought I
I
had
heard
it, but I
up
thought
up
most
up to
adults are
15.
really around 15. Yeah, humans can
Right.
hear up to between 13 and 15.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware. I've always had a slight hearing loss. Yeah.
okay, this guy, and y'all can see him on there, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
Again, I'm worried about copyright infringement, but he does a lot of talking at the beginning of the video and explains how he's doing this. And he mentions the controversy, and he said, I'm not going to comment on that, but he said a lot of times you'll hear other people play, but the way they do it, it's not clear. He's playing this at the same tempo, the same song at the same tempo. And he chose two versions. One is I'm going to play one and then I'm going to play a little bit of the other. And at the end, he tells us which is which. And so I'm
Four
just
432 and 440.
right. So I'm gonna play a little bit of both, and let's see what you can pick out. Okay, see here are those tones, right? Then
Okay. All
let's go
right.
to version 2. Can you tell the difference?
I have an interesting perspective to share with you.
Uh-huh.
I could not hear either one, but I could see it all, and his body language was significantly different. Not
Oh,
not extremely different, but significantly different
could,
from one version to the other version.
now I don't know. You couldn't hear it at all?
No, I think that's my computer. It's not. I don't think that's the show. I think they can hear. Audience can hear you fine,
Okay. All right.
but I couldn't hear the record. Don't worry about it. Is
Okay.
what I'm saying. They
All
could
right.
hear you.
Well, here's the answer. And I was surprised I could tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Version 1 was the lower frequency, 432. And in version 2, the A is tuned at a 440.
Heidi said she couldn't hear it.
Oh, dang it. Dang it all. Crap. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I apologize, gang. And then sometimes there's a button you got to hit to make sure that it shares the sound. So I apologize, and I don't know if I can get it, but I'm sending the link out so you can go and listen to yourself. The first one, go back over here. Whoops.
Yep, it's posted on Facebook now and on YouTube. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Guys, listen to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And crap. Well, technology. I apologize, y'all.
No worries.
What I suggest is that you go and listen to it to yourself. But you can, to me, it was a definite, the lower tones were in there. And
could you guys see a difference in the body language? The musician, he stood differently, and his face changed, and his neck and face angle very much changed from version 1 to version 2. Version 1, he was open and happy and doing this and barely moving. The second version, he was doing this, and then he bent over and he stayed crunched up, and he never stood up again.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I did not pick that up.
He shook his head a little bit in the beginning, and then he stopped, and then he hunched over, and he never came back up again.
Wow.
For the part you were playing.
Wow.
It was very remarkable. Yeah, he was obviously much more serene and harmonic in the first one. Or the second one, there was a shutting down gradually. It was weird. But anyway.
Well, I think and I wanted, because I know a lot of times people don't know much about music, or we talk about frequency, but do people really understand what it is and that sort of thing? So that's why I wanted to cover.
Yeah.
So at least now when you hear somebody talking about it or you read about it, you can find out more information. But then we talk about there's different, you get into the math, and like I know Dale during the conference, he talked some about the frequency of like the love frequency and how the numerology, the numerical significance and that sort of stuff. Margo, share your knowledge on some of that.
All right, so 520 different hertz speeds are associated to different aspects of existence and affectation and motion, and so, or not motion, but emotion. And the easiest way to talk about it in summary is like 432 is the natural vibration of Earth, and it's also the natural vibration of the human hand. Your eyes have a different vibration from your hand, from your heart, from your shoulder, from your elbow, from your belly, your liver. They all have their different frequencies. Human hands have 432, just like the earth, just like the plants. By the way, 432 is a healing frequency. Cells regenerate at that frequency. And so that's why it's so healthy to go outside on a regular basis and get in nature. And that's why our healing modalities almost always begin with laying on of hands, such as quantum touch, Reiki, healing touch. Uh, Body talk has a little bit of it as well. Massage, chemotherapy, physicians of the old school, Chinese medicine, acupressure, acupuncture, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I said massage. Yeah. So 432 is a healing hertz, and 528 is considered a connection, a love connection, a higher, obviously higher because it's 528 is a higher, more repetitions in a second than 440 or 342 or any others. And it has a tendency to activate your cosmic connection. It is reported to be a connection to Archangel Michael, and it's a connection in terms of love and compassion. Okay, a lot leaning hard into the love and compassion part. The sound, when you hear 528 or a sound at the 528 frequency, it's supposed to move your awareness into that kind of loving connection and so on, frequency and so on. The angelic hertzes are like the triples, such as 999, 8888. I'm sorry, too many eights. 888, 777. Don't know about the 666. Haven't heard about that one. Not quite sure what that one would call up.
Whoa.
Let's not find out. All right. But the higher you go, the high it's like going up through your chakras, which also vibrate. Lower ones are a slower frequency, and the medium ones around your heart are medium frequency, and the highest ones are near the in and near and above the top of your head. So yeah, the sound pitch goes up, and the type of manifestation is a lower frequency intention manifestation versus a higher one. And that's the same is true with the hertz. For example, your first chakra, your root chakra, you're sitting on it. That's the lowest out of the 7. There's lots of systems, but I'm talking about the 7 chakra system. That's the lowest one, and that's one is connected to your sense of connection to the earth, your sense of grounding, your sense of safety, the sense of where you are, who you are, your physical health, versus your crown chakra, which is the highest frequency, and that is your connection to divinity, connection to the rest of the universe, higher thoughts, higher wisdom, and all those good things. So now you can see the correlation of the higher the frequency, the different higher, so to speak, relativity to what it affects. And by the way, I want to make a clarification. We are using the terminology higher and lower in terms of frequency, and you're seeing me reach up and reach down to talk about higher frequencies versus lower frequencies. Need you to know that that is not a value statement. Such as a frequency that is a low frequency is not a less frequency. It just means it moves slower.
Yes.
It has a deeper pitch, a growly sound, if you can hear it. And it's just a slower wavelength motion. It's just slower. And slower is not bad either. If you want to go to sleep at night, slow is good. Okay, just for an example of when slow is good. There's lots of times. Higher frequencies have that higher, sound. That higher does not mean above or better. It just means that the frequency wavelength moves faster. Okay, so just wanted to make that clarification that high and low does not mean better or worse. It's just relative position is all it is. And how fast or how slow it moves is the relativity that I'm talking about. So Iris, what you got next? I hear you clicking away.
Sorry about that. What I'm doing
okay.
is I am sharing some articles and information that I found. Want to clarify that it doesn't mean that we advocate or subscribe to any or all of these or none of these. Or these are just, they give you different perspectives and different. A lot of them say the same thing as far as, of course, they do regarding what hertz is and frequency and that sort of thing. But it gives a little bit of different perspective. There's one from Gaia that is in the articles I just listed. There's one that is from I what I can't what was isotope, which is they're like a musical sound company type thing, and they talk about the hertz thing and the arguments for changing. And then there was another article on the conspiracy and that sort of thing. So I wanted to share that information so that people can go a little, you're welcome to dig down the rabbit hole and see.
Yeah. There's so much more.
Yeah.
People
And
have doctorates in sound medicine and sound theory that aren't even musical degrees. It's about sound healing. You can get a doctorate in this information. There's so much of it.
And there's a Japanese doctor, and I think I sent the article with that. Yeah, I know I did. I sent that article with the information. Um, that did some research on like playing sound at different frequencies and what would happen to water crystals and how they would react.
Matsuru Matsuru Emoto wrote about that. Dr. Emoto in English. Emoto, Dr. Emoto. He talked about it's his book was called Secret Messages in Water, and
Might have
higher
been.
vibrations in words and words with higher intention showed up with beautiful crystals or preserved rice left in bags better than stuff with low vibration. And he found out sound did the same thing that just plain words did. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And he's deceased now, but you
Yeah,
guys
that
know
was
about
the
Emoto.
Moto. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he shows and in that link, and I did put it on there, which I can share this real quick while we're at it. Let me screen. Come on. Wait a minute. And I'll put this up here so y'all can see what I'm looking at. Come on, where's it coming? Come back. I don't want that. I want this. And I'm gonna put that up. We're getting there. Clicked you. Move. There we go.
So yeah, you've got lots of beautiful links in here for us. Like you were
Okay.
telling us about Isotope Global News.
And I don't know why
Has a few.
it won't go to full screen for some reason.
Everything EIE energy. Energy is everything EIE.com. Interesting. GaiaMeditation.com,
It
440
will not
hertz.
let me go to full screen,
Ooh.
and I apologize. I don't know why it's something went
Have you
wrong.
guys have you guys ever some of y'all I'm sure you have used a tuning fork before? Lots of times they're made out of aluminum and it's just a two-prong tool that's about as long as your hand, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. And when you tap it with a special mallet, the two tops here vibrate. And if you hold it near your ear, you can hear it. Similar principles to a Tibetan singing bowl, brass singing bowl, also a crystal one. Same thing. They're vibrating at specific frequencies. They're sometimes on a molecular level, but sometimes you can actually see it if you're looking on a crystal one. You can see it vibrate.
I can't get the screen to go full screen. But it was like the second link that I shared. I shared the YouTube, and then I shared the link to Energy is Everything
Okay.
website. And this picture, you can tell how one has less yellow in it. It's got space between, and the other's like solid. This is a water sound image, and the first one is 432 hertz, and the second one is at 440.
Oh wow.
And then there's it talks about the chakras and the notes that correlate to the chakras. And the other thing is, if you think that a note is at 432 hertz, but then you move it to 440, how that can affect our vibrations. Um, And then Masaru Emoto performed many studies using water and frequency. And this is a chart, everything from Mozart to John Lennon, to the sound "I Will Kill You," and how nasty
I've,
that looks.
yeah, hard metal, heavy metal, hate rock, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, came up with ugly, malformed crystals. Whereas stuff like classical and John Lennon and stuff like that, classical symphonic music had beautiful, symmetrical, clean, crisp crystals. Yeah.
This is the chakra tones based on 432 hertz, and what the notes should be and what the tones are equivalent to in those notes. So the A is at 432, and then 486. The C is at 256, and all the applications that they have in the body. So, and then this
Yeah, you
is
can find a whole map of which, yes, of which hertz affects what condition on a human body.
and this is the
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci, yeah, Fibonacci, with the hertz and the degree, the degree angles, and that sort of thing. And
Ooh.
so, yeah, so there's
Yeah,
lots.
angles of incidence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I apologize. Oh, and it's gone. Sorry, I apologize. I'm sitting here telling you about stuff, but anyway, you know what's on there, so go to that link and see it.
Catch those links and educate yourself even more.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? What? I think we've tried to hit a lot of things and hope that that
About
helps.
about the only other thing I can think of is sometimes people ask me, how do I find 432 hertz in music? And the easiest thing I can think of is when you look for music online, a good way to find specifically 432. For example, on YouTube, type the name of the song and put 432HZ at the end of it and see if there is a version of the song you're looking for in 432. If you're not looking for a specific song, you can put meditative music 432 hertz, uh, study music 432 hertz, dance music 432 hertz, Christmas music 432 hertz. You can type that in the search bar on YouTube, and in theory, it'll come up in the selections and say that in the descriptions.
I think
And that's
another,
the most frequent question I've gotten for that. No pun
yeah,
intended.
and I think when you realize that, if this is an international tuning system, then you're kind of stuck with what you get unless people deliberately create the music at 432.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
it would be a new recording for the most part. Yeah.
something else I'd like to remind people, because I love rock and roll music. There's all kinds of music out there that I enjoy. The thing is, we are powerful divine beings, and we don't have to let this music affect us the way that it may be intended to affect us, according to conspiracy theories, and according to the feelings and all. I go to watch my favorite horror movies, and I make it known that I'm not going to let those affect me or invite in creatures that I don't want around me, or the energies that I don't want around me. And I let it be known that this is just for entertainment. When I sing lyrics to a song and I realize, oh my God, what am I saying? I go, now, I'm just singing the words to the song. It doesn't mean this is what I want for me.
Erase, cancel, delete, erase, cancel, delete, right?
Yeah, exactly.
High intentions, high intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of set my own vibration and my own intentions for what I'm saying, because I totally believe we can overcome any adverse reactions that are intended from music that is set at the higher frequencies.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree. Which is true of all reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay. So
excellent closure next week.
we've got Psychic readings.
Yay!
Yay!
We're making the same sound at the same time. Yes, mini psychic readings. Get your miniature reading. Get an update on what your guides or spirit guides or your energy or your Akashic record or whatever needs to tell you lately. Answers past, present, and future as best as your guides will show us.
Yeah. And then the next week we're covering IBS, the irritable bitch syndrome.
Come find out what that's about.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank y'all for joining us, sticking with us and listening in, and hope you got something out of it, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Namaste. Good night.
Thank you for joining the Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod. Find us at facebook.com/Eyes of Indigo, on YouTube under @Iris Carter Enterprises, and on various podcast aggregators. Copyright 2023 by Iris Carter,